This is a cultural tale of memory, meaning, and modern identity. Have you ever wondered why some people dance before they eat? Why aunties hum while cooking? Why elders touch the ground before sitting? Why children kneel or bow when greeting? Ola never understood why Grandma danced when she cooked. It wasn't just a little shuffle. It was full body movement, hips swaying gently, shoulders rolling to a rhythm only she could hear. Her hands stirred the pot like she was playing a drum. And every now and then, she would hum, soft and low, like a secret only the stew could understand. Ola, 15, born and raised in the city, thought it was all a little much, too dramatic, too ancient, too unnecessary. She'd grown up in a world of microwaves, playlists, and next-day delivery. Her world was sharp, fast, efficient. Dancing before eating felt like buffering in the age of 5G. Why take time to dance while cooking? Grandma, you know you don't have to do that, right? She said one evening, watching her dance with the stew pot. Grandma just smiled and said, "Because the food listens." Ola laughed. "That's not in any recipe book, Grandma." But Grandma didn't laugh. She looked at Ola gently and said, "We don't dance because it's funny. We dance because it's how we remember." Ola didn't understand. She rolled her eyes and went back to her room, music in her ears, scrolling her phone. That weekend, her school announced a project. Share something about your culture, a value, a tradition, a story. Easy, right? Wrong. Ola had no idea what to say. She wore sneakers, ate burgers, and barely understood the Yoruba spoken at home. Was that even culture? Her classmates shared proudly. "My family is from India. We celebrate Diwali." A girl spoke about Friday prayers at the mosque. Someone else talked about visiting Ghana every December, dancing under fireworks and moonlight. Another person said, "We're Irish. We wear green on St. Paddy's Day." And then it was Ola's turn. She stood up slowly, heart racing. She hesitated. She knew her parents were from Nigeria. She knew she liked jollof rice and Afrobeat. But beyond that, she wasn't sure what to say. "I'm Nigerian," she began softly, "but I grew up here, so I don't know much about it." Some heads nodded. Others just listened. "But one thing I remember is my grandma. She dances when she cooks. Always." A few people smiled. Someone giggled. "She says the food listens, that you must cook with rhythm, with joy. So the food carries more than taste. It carries a story." The class grew quiet. "She doesn't cook like she's following a recipe," Ola added. "She cooks like she's remembering something, someone." Even her teacher tilted her head, listening closely. "She hums when she stirs, sprinkles spices like secrets. She closes her eyes before tasting, like she's praying." Ola paused. "I used to think it was just weird. Now I think it's beautiful." When she sat down, a quiet realization settled in. Later that night, Ola watched Grandma cook, really watched. The careful way she chopped onions, the soft hums under her breath, the dancing, always the dancing. "Why do we kneel when greeting elders?" Ola asked suddenly. Grandma smiled. "Because it shows we remember they came before us." "And why do you clap twice before entering some rooms?" "To say, I'm here, gently, without force." Every answer felt like a puzzle piece sliding into place. Grandma wasn't just cooking. She was passing on memory, culture in motion. That weekend, Grandma handed her the wooden spoon. "Your turn," she said. Ola held it awkwardly. She looked at the pot, then her feet. She shuffled once, then again. And before she knew it, her shoulders were rolling. She was dancing. And Grandma? She clapped, laughed, and said, "Now the food will listen to you too." They cooked together, sang together, stirred the stew with joy. On Sunday, when they served the jollof rice, her little brother said, "This tastes like a party." And Grandma beamed. Weeks passed, and Ola kept asking more. Why do we cook with our hands? Why do we never throw food away? Why do we eat together on mats at family gatherings? The answers didn't come from books. They came from Grandma's smile, from the music in her bones, from the stories in her steps. At school, Ola's teacher invited her to speak again, this time at the Culture Night event. She stepped on stage, wearing a wrapper Grandma tied for her. She took a breath and said, "Culture isn't about how far back you can trace your roots. It's about how deeply you feel them." She told the crowd how she used to rush through meals, and now she slows down, how she used to find her grandma's habits strange, and now she sees them as gold. She ended with, "So if you ever wonder why someone dances when they cook, maybe it's not for fun. Maybe it's for the memory." That night, her story touched hearts. A few parents wiped their eyes. A girl from another school came up and said, "I'm going to ask my grandma the same thing." When Ola got home, she and Grandma danced in the kitchen. This time, not for the project, not for the show, but because it felt right. Because joy was the first ingredient. Because in their family, food wasn't just a meal, it was a memory. And dancing was how they kept that memory alive. We don't always understand the traditions we inherit, but sometimes when we pause, when we listen, when we dance, we find that we're not just learning about the past, we're discovering who we are. If this story made you pause or think, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more cultural stories that stay with you. Zayne always had a plan. While other kids were busy practicing TikTok dances or staying up late, scrolling through social media, Zayne was building apps, not just playing with tech, mastering it. He wasn't loud, he wasn't flashy, but he knew how to make things work. If it had code, Zayne could control it. He stayed focused, learning, building, and improving. No shortcuts, no hype, just quiet work. He was the kind of teen who believed in solving real problems. His walls were covered in sticky notes. MIT 2026. Pitch idea by Friday. Fix bug in ClearMind 3.2. Everyone called him the boy genius. Teachers adored him. Parents bragged about him. Other students, they just assumed he'd already made it. This was the moment. National spotlight. Eyes on him. No room for mistakes. Zayne entered the National Youth Innovation Expo, the biggest platform for young minds. At 17, he was one of 50 finalists. His project? A mental health chatbot named ClearMind, a tool for teens who didn't have anyone to talk to. He built it after his best friend Kola stopped showing up to school. No goodbye, no explanation, just silence. Zayne couldn't help Kola back then. So, he built something that might help the next person. He stood on that stage, laptop in hand, crowd watching, judges ready, parents proud. He clicked, and then, error 404, file not found. The audience held its breath, but Zayne didn't move. His hands froze. His mind blanked. One line of text on a screen that should have changed everything. He tried again. Click. Nothing. And in that moment, Zayne the boy who always had a plan, had no backup, no script, no words. He froze. And the silence around him was louder than anything he'd ever heard. He didn't go home with the medal. He didn't say much at all. Zayne shut the world out, logged out of everything. He shut off his phone, closed his laptop, deleted the app, curtains drawn, lights off. He ghosted everyone, not because he was dramatic, but because he was embarrassed, ashamed. For a boy who built his world online, it was strange how quickly he disappeared. Messages poured in. Are you okay? Still proud of you. Talk to us. But Zayne didn't talk, because even he didn't know what to say. 2 weeks later, his cousin Maya showed up. The cousin who didn't care about apps or algorithms. You're coming with me, she said. Get dressed. You look like a ghost. She dragged him out of bed, threw him a hoodie, and said, You're not broken. You just got hit. So what? Get up. She took him to a community tech hub, a small place with second-hand computers and kids who didn't know who he was or care. Zayne hated it, until a little boy tapped him on the shoulder. My laptop isn't working, the boy said. I really want to learn graphic design. Can you help me? Zayne didn't think twice. He reached for the laptop and flipped open the case, shifted a wire, and tightened a screw. The screen blinked to life. The boy lit up. Whoa, are you like Iron Man? He asked. And Zayne, he smiled. A real unexpected smile. That night, Zayne didn't relaunch the app. He relit the fire. He opened a notebook and wrote down, fix the flaw, rebuild, return. No noise, no hype, just hard work. He rewrote Clear Mind from scratch, joined a youth accelerator, tested, built, improved. This time it wasn't just smart, it was powerful, faster, cleaner, voice-enabled, school-linked. He entered the Global Youth Tech Summit, a bigger stage, a bigger challenge. But Zayne stood calm, not nervous, prepared. He clicked. The app launched, perfect. The judges didn't just applaud, they stood. Zayne had delivered. Because failure didn't stop him, it sharpened him. He didn't bounce back with tears. He came back with results. Not every crash ends a dream. Some crashes clear the way for something better. Zayne didn't just recover, he returned. Better, sharper, focused. And that's what real success looks like. If this reminded you of where you're headed, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Someone else might need the reminder too. They say every mother has her own way of showing love. Some speak, some singing, some stay silent and just plant. Mama Lami planted 5 trees. Behind her house, in the quiet corner of the garden, the trees stood like a secret, one for each child. Tall, still, waiting. Each planted on the day they were born. There was Sammy's tree, always full of juicy mangoes. Kemi's tree, with bright oranges that glowed in the sun. Zeno's guava tree grew fast and wide. Tari had an avocado tree, soft and rich. And then there was Lami's. Lami's tree was no tree at all, just a small mound of earth, round, quiet. People laughed, even his siblings. Your tree looks like a forgotten hill, they said. Lami didn't laugh. He just watched it. Year after year, nothing changed. No fruits, no flowers, no smell, just dirt. One day he asked Mama, why did you plant that one for me? Mama smiled, like someone holding a big story in her chest. She said, some things grow where no eyes can see, but they grow strong. Just wait. Lami didn't ask again. Then came the night of the great storm. The wind came like a shout. Lightning flashed. Branches cracked. Fruits flew through the air like frightened birds. The whole garden shook. Morning came. The mango tree was split into 2, half its fruit gone. The orange tree leaned, tired and broken. Guava branches were broken. The avocado's roots showed like tired feet. But Lami's mound? Still, whole, unbothered. That day something pulled Lami to it. He knelt and touched the soil. It was warm, alive. He started to dig, and what he found made him freeze. Yams, big, strong, hidden beneath the earth. Layer after layer, thick as Mama's arms when she held him as a boy. The others came running. They all stared. Quiet. No one teased this time. Mama Lami stood by the garden gate, watching. And then she spoke. I looked into each of your eyes when you were born, she said. Sammy, so full of laughter, I gave you mangoes to match your joy. Kemi, full of fire, you got oranges to wake the mouth. Zeno, curious and wide-eyed. Guava for your restless wonder. Tari, soft and calm. Avocado to keep you gentle. Then she looked at Lami. But you, my Lami, came into this world with silence in your bones. You didn't cry loud. You just stared like you already knew things take time. So I gave you something that grows down, not up. Something that holds the ground when the wind is wild. Something that feeds not just now, but long after others fall. Lami blinked, and this time he didn't feel forgotten. He felt seen. The garden was quiet again. A mound, small, quiet, still there, still holding. Lami's yam had pushed through, deep and wide. Its roots wrapped around the earth like it had always belonged. Sammy's mango bore sweet fruit. Kemi's oranges brought laughter. Tari's avocado gave shade. Zion's guava bloomed in its time. But it was the yam that held the ground together when the others began to shed. Now they understood. Mama had seen something in Lami, something buried, not loud. Strength not shown in leaves, but in roots. She had known all along. Each planting was more than a gift. It was a story, a prayer, a promise. Mama didn't speak much, but her hands had spoken in the soil. And in silence, she taught them everything. She was, and always will be, the mother who planted trees. To every hand that nurtures, to every soul that sees beyond today, thank you, Mama. If this story touched something deep inside you, remember to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.